Welcome to the Starside Lounge. I'm Bjorn, and this is episode 34.5, Warmind. And with me today, we have, always, Xenos.
Hello.
Hey, Xenos. And Claude Herrera joins us again.
Good evening.
Hey, Claude. And once again, special community guest, Ragashingo. Welcome to the show.
Oh, hello there.
Hello. You know, I think the big news, the big thing to talk about tonight, something that I think Ragashingo would especially agree with me on, is Puella Magi Modica Magica.
Oh, dear. Yes, that was an episode about. Okay.
Oh, wait. That's not what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I had my lore on that. I did the notes on that, not the Destiny stuff. So.
I was thinking about doing an anime section at the end of this, where you give me recommendations of what to watch.
Oh, dear.
Me and Claude will just sign off and let you guys do that part.
That's right.
Okay, actually. Yeah, so it's been a while. I'm looking at this. Last episode was in December. And...
yeah, that's not nearly the biggest break we've ever taken.
No, it's kind of
that's
amazing,
like,
actually.
That's almost like the closest together they've ever been.
This is right. Semi-regular now. Don't get too excited, folks.
Welcome to the quarterly Starside Lounge.
That's right.
I got to come up with a clever phrase, like, you know, the comfiest chair in the galaxy. Starside Lounge. Yeah, so we've got a fair bit of news. Bungie's been working on stuff. The what's the name of the other studio who's doing some of the expansion work? I always forget their name.
There's Vicarious Visions.
Yeah, Vicarious Visions. Yeah, sounds like they've been busy too. Because just this last week, Bungie announced that the next Destiny 2 expansion, Warmind, is going to be coming out in just a few short weeks, May 8th, which sort of surprised me. That was pretty quick. I think we haven't had that short of a announcement window. Maybe Crota, but I think we had longer for that even.
Yeah, it seems pretty sudden.
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead, Xenos.
I was just going to say, I'm guessing part of it's just because of all the updates they've been doing. They don't want to break up the talking about that to talk about the new DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, could be.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. So even before the new expansion comes out, we've just had a major update to Destiny 2, the Go Fast update, where they've really significantly changed the gameplay. I don't know how much you guys have played. I've been sort of real life busy and haven't played a whole lot of Destiny recently, but had a chance to play with Raga earlier today and played last week a little bit. And Crucible especially feels way different.
Yep.
It's a lot faster paced. I'm still trying to get my, a handle on it. I've launched myself off of a map as a Dawnblade when I'm in the middle of my super, because apparently you really move when that happens. That was embarrassing.
That's pretty funny, actually.
But yeah, I kind of wanted to get your guys' read on the recent update, things that have actually landed, and then talk about where we're going from here on.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's start with you, Claude. Like, have you played much recently, and what do you think of the update?
Yeah, I've been playing almost every day. So when it started, I didn't actually feel like there was a huge difference between before the update and after the update. And I guess I would agree that there is a change now. But maybe it's just my play style. I don't know. It still feels, but everything's a little bit faster. But I don't.
Well, you also play a Titan as your main, right?
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
So you don't have a lot of mobility dumped into your Titan, I'm guessing.
No, and I don't have a lot of mobility dumped into any of my characters except my hunter,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, because I've always felt like mobility is a waste of points.
Right.
the way Bungie lets me play.
Which they even agreed with.
There you go. But so the very first day of the update, I was playing as a warlock, not as a Dawnblade, and I will definitely agree that I've missed jumps because I've over jumped more than once as a Dawnblade. It seems like that is a class that has really bumped up its mobility, but mostly I play a Stormcaller, and I haven't seen as a Warlock, and I haven't seen a huge difference. I don't know. It's a little bit faster. It's a little bit snappier. The kill counts have gone up in every game type. It takes more points to finish a game, and yet the games take roughly the same amount of time as they took before. So clearly things are going faster, but it doesn't feel that different to me. Maybe my taste buds have been deadened or something. I don't know.
Are you licking the controller? Because
no, I'm just thinking. It's kind of. My dad used to grade all foods as B minuses. Like every food was a B minus. What do you think of this? And it's just because nothing. He didn't really have taste buds, or so he explained later on, and so everything sort of tasted the same, and it was all okay. Nothing was bad, but he didn't notice changes, and I think that's kind of what I feel like playing Destiny. Which I'm not saying it's bad, and I'm not saying I don't like it. I play it every day, which is more than most of you do. But I'm not seeing a huge. It doesn't feel super different to me. I guess
that actually strikes me as kind of amazing because the gameplay balance is so delicate that if something were actually significantly off, you'd really feel the change. And the fact that you're saying that it's not feeling different, but there's sort of empirical evidence to show that maybe there is, because like you said, different game, scoring requirements, but the game plays in the same amount of time, that kind of thing. The fact that they're able to keep that balance is kind of amazing.
Think of it this way. If you had a keyboard and somebody increased the sensitivity of all the keys, so pushing a little less hard got you the same keystroke, but you were using your keyboard with a pair of mittens, do you think you'd notice it?
Is Claude saying he plays with gloves? I'm confused.
He licks the controller and he's playing with mittens. Okay, this explains a lot.
Wait, are you talking about like dementia? Is that like starting to kick in?
No.
Oh, jeez.
Now, how do I fire again?
That is actually a question. When people say, "What button do you use for whatever?" I can't tell you. My finger.
Oh no.
I've never been able to answer that question.
Yeah. No.
I have to press it with my hand to know.
Yep.
Okay, how about you, Raga?
I'm the wrong person to ask. Ask Xenos. He knows.
We'll get to him. He'll have his moment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, my turn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed some things. I think, again, I am the Titan main. So
But you've been playing all the other classes, right?
Oh, yeah, I've played the other two.
Yeah.
I mean, my agility typically, though, is somewhere between 0 and a negative number, probably.
Between like that, yeah.
That said, I mean, like, I know empirically, my pulse rifle is like 19% more powerful than it used to be. And so that gives you the feel that something that would have gotten away before, someone that would have gotten away before, you'll probably get them. And you'll probably get someone in maybe one less trigger pull. But then things like, the power recharge rate is significantly higher, especially once you stack on the mods onto something. I haven't done the timing, but we're back near the 30-second recharge of the Destiny 1, I think, if you stack all three on, like, grenades or something.
Yeah, I wish I had gear to do that with. That'd be great.
Yeah, I wish I had the mods. Jeez. But then the one of the other things I noticed is like when you're having a decent game, you can get 2 or 3 supers now in a Crucible match, where before you'd get one, and it would be in the last 30 seconds, and you wouldn't even use it because it wasn't even worth it.
Yeah, I'd say like 3 different games when we were playing earlier today. You know,
you got at least 2 or maybe 3, didn't you?
Yeah. I wasn't even looking at the meter. I wasn't thinking that it was a possibility. I'd be in an engagement, and all of a sudden the thing would pop up. I'm like, oh, I have new options available. This is great.
Yeah, and then the Dawnblade, like before, it was like the ultimate floofy warlock. I'm just going to use this to die. Super, like maybe even more so than the old Destiny 1.
It was
solar
pretty bad.
class.
Because
you just floop above and you'd throw things at people and they'd miss, and then they'd shoot you with their gun.
Yeah, and you'd like
look
try
at you wrong,
to
and then you
get
die.
out of range, but you'd just be floating there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's scary. Like they light it up, and like I don't know what I'm going to do to get away from it. I hide around the corner.
Yeah.
Unless I have a super or something ready. And I mean that's awesome because it still doesn't last long enough to be like overpowered, and it's not quite like the old Sunbreaker in Destiny 1 where everybody just hated it for some reason.
But yeah, it's still not. It's not like super accurate.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I actually on that note, I've had to. I noticed that with the Dawnblade, I've had to turn on the seeking projectiles for Crucible.
Sure.
I didn't used to play with that because I liked some of the other. I liked the double B to dodge in midair. I really like that, but everybody's moving so much more quickly in the game that I couldn't hit a damn thing with my super if they weren't actually tracking targets. So I've flipped it over to the bottom tree for now, and it works great for that. But I kind of wish I had my dodge back. I'm missing it.
Yeah. And then like in PvE stuff, just going through strikes, you get your super back more than you used to, which is nice. And you just kind of track it. Well, I used to get it back here. Well, now I've got it back here and here kind of things. Especially if people are chaining.
I'm used to playing with Xenos, where he has his crazy pants of Orb Doom.
Yeah.
And I just always had my super.
Well, that's and since everybody's got masterworks weapons now, there's so many orbs being created that in PvE I feel like it's a totally different story. But I don't feel like it was a change with 114. I feel that was a change with masterworks weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a little farther back. But I will totally agree with you. I had forgotten, Raga. You were right. The whole the speed with which your super charges is significantly faster than it used to be.
Xenos, what's your read?
So I only played it with the Hunter. I haven't played it with any of the other classes, and I think in a lot of ways the Hunter may be the one most affected, at least with Arc Strider, because everybody knows the super kind of sucked especially in PvP before this update. It was so slow, the dodges were too slow, and people could literally run away from you. Like you couldn't catch them. And now it's closer to the speed that Blade Dancer was. But it takes a little bit more skill. You have to aim a little bit more. And I actually feel like I can kill somebody before they can kill me with an energy weapon, which was totally not true before the update. And then it also helps that as a hunter, by default, I have a minimum of 3 or 4 mobility. So I can actually tell a difference in my strafing speed and stuff, because I probably have more mobility than any of you guys normally have, because you're mostly playing other classes. So I feel a lot different, and I love it. I'm very, very happy with the changes. I even made a tweet about it to, I think, Josh Hamrick, about how I really wanted to love the Blade Dancer super when I saw it in the trailers, and then it took until this update for me to actually want to use it. I used to play Crucible matches where I wouldn't even pop that super because I knew I would get less kills than if I just used my guns. So I'm a big fan of the update. I really liked it.
The one thing I kind of question that they've done is the respawn timer. Just in basic gameplay, is so fast now.
Yep.
Oh, so fast.
The maps aren't big enough. Almost, it's like you kill 2-3 guys, and those same guys have respawned behind you with overshields. And then what do? You're out of bullets. You got to reload, and then they all shoot you. And like, I'm not.
Yeah,
even
but that
mayhem,
plays both ways. So I've been killed more often by somebody supering twice in a row than ever happened before. So you're right. You know, you can run out of bullets if you're shooting somebody and they spawn with a full clip, but you can also die. You know, you get killed by guys supering, and you can spawn right in front of them again and die again.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a guy who does not play Void Walker.
Well, and that's actually, I would say, is another reason why I think they should probably increase it a little bit more.
Yeah, just give us another second, I think. And, you know, it used to be, 5 seconds? Now it's like 2. Put it to 3.
Yeah.
I think it would be okay.
It's pretty quick.
It's not even enough time to change weapons, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, and I found that I don't know what weapon killed me.
That little timer needs to be increased a lot, because it's like it pops up as you respawn right now.
Yeah.
That's just a little UI issue. They need to.
Well, and we all had this problem, at least me, Bjorn, and Raga, when we were playing Mayhem. Mayhem is friggin' insane.
Oh, I have not touched Mayhem, so I'm not
Mayhem
included
is
here.
actually quite fun.
Oh man, we literally had guys going around with it was 2 warlocks in a match running around with. You're gonna have to remind me the exotic name. It gives them more armor when they're casting Nova Bomb.
Oh yeah, the helm of
the
Ahamkara helm.
They would just jump in your face and cast that, so you couldn't kill them. It's like literally impossible. Literally a Acreus shot didn't even bring their shield half down.
Yeah, they were using it as a like a Fist of Havoc kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh,
their super came back so fast that it didn't matter that they just used it to kill one person. They'd have it back in like less than 30 seconds.
It was brutal. We had to try to play the long game against them. I don't think we won that game. Did we?
No matter
we
how
did start
frustrating
catching
that
up.
is, it's not as bad as a team of 4 Night Stalkers.
Oh, no, nothing is as bad as that. That
Oh
is
my
just
God.
horrible.
It was terrible.
So what else did they change with the update? Oh, pulse rifles. That was sort of amazing. I hadn't really been paying attention to pulse rifles. I had basically ignored them since Destiny 2 came out for PvP play. And Raga, you told me, you said, hey, you should check out pulse rifles. I said,
Well, I mean, I've been on the heavy class pulse rifle since Fair and Square, the very first one from Destiny 1. That was a heavy pulse rifle. So, I mean, I've been using it all the way through. But yeah, it's just smoother now. It's like you get kills where you wouldn't have before, and you're not outshot quite as often. So.
Yeah, it made a big difference. I was trying that earlier today and really liked how they felt. The damage increase, I think, was critical. You said it was 18%, is that right? That they boosted
Something like that, yeah.
I think that was critical to making them more effective.
I'm just waiting for them to do the Graviton forfeit.
Yeah.
Or Graviton Lance, I mean.
Lance, yeah.
Update.
Yeah, that'll be sweet.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
When's that coming? Is that with Season 3?
That's with Warmind, yeah.
Okay. So I guess unless there's something else here with the Season 2. Oh, Iron Banner 6v6. Very excited. Still haven't played it because of unknown weird sounding bugs.
Yeah, it sounded like a pretty game-breaking bug. I'm happy it only took them a week to fix it.
Yeah. It was sort of oddly stated, though. Like, certain scoring conditions, aka if somebody wins a game, this might be a problem.
In too short a period of time, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of odd. Yeah. Oh, and the new companion, the new mobile app has seen some love, which is finally, you know,
that finally makes it like minimally good.
Useful. Yeah.
I like the fact that it actually gives you a decent view of your Guardian.
Yep.
You know, I haven't even looked at that yet. I remember them posting screenshots. I forgot to check that out. I'll do that now. I'll report in. You'll get my live reaction.
Live reaction.
Yeah. Question is, how do I find it? It's under gear.
Yeah, you can actually tell which category is which because
I
they
know.
have words.
Like icons and words that
They're
make
not
sense.
just random symbols. Yes.
Yeah, I don't understand that change. It's like, why would you just give us random symbols? Don't even look like what they say. Like, this is chat. You can tell because it's a diamond with like a squiggly line.
And this
Going
is
down the
clan
middle.
because it's a ship that represents clan. Don't ask us why.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, that's actually a pretty good render. Oh, and you can like zoom in with the pinch to zoom and look at
I
your
actually
gear.
have not done this either. Where do you go?
You go,
Go to gear and
there's a bar that goes across the middle that says view your 3D Guardian.
Oh, I would like to do that.
It's in like
Yes.
super weird wide angle though.
It's
Well, and just like the
Weird
D1
waiting.
app, not all of them look right. Like the effects don't always.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I'm looking at my.
Oh,
Some
that's
of the-
interesting because all of my gear works fine. I remember that
But,
on
like-
the D1 app.
So I'm looking at my Cosmos shell, and you can't actually see the Cosmos in it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the hollow fire
All the
height
effects are
armor
gone.
on my Titan, and I'm not getting like the flames and the crackly stuff on it. It's just
Exactly.
kinda
Yeah, and
black.
my Trials armband doesn't have any glowy stuff on it. But like the rest of the armor looks good though. It has
Yeah,
great
that's pretty cool.
reflections and high res. It's looking pretty
Yeah,
good.
the colors are way better than the D1 version was.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Cool.
And
That's
this, I don't know if it was this update or the one before, you can actually apply mods and shaders now, which that's a new period.
Huh.
Pretty slick.
Pretty slick.
Yeah. So that was like the small change that just happened, but 1.2.0 Warmind coming out in a few weeks, and we've got. I'll just read the list of what they list here, but it's seasonal Crucible rankings, private matches, vault space increase, multi-emote, exotic weapon masterworks, seasonal vendor progression, exotic weapon sandbox changes, heroic strike modifiers, and nightfall challenge cards.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Did they not? Did we not get nightfall challenge cards?
I was just about
No,
to
they
ask that.
bumped it. They bumped. Well, no, we got challenge cards, but we didn't get. Oh, wait, there was something that didn't. Oh, the scoring got pushed back.
No, we
Well,
have
you
scoring.
still have scoring. I wonder what that means.
Yeah. Because we have the challenge cards too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
had
guess
one
we
in my
do.
inventory last I looked.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
they
don't know.
forgot to move that. Maybe they're changing how it works.
I'm super interested in multi-emote. I want to see what they do with that.
Yeah.
Yes. Finally, right? Like this is a thing that we've been wanting since I don't know,
Close
week
to day
one
one.
of Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
yeah.
and it's the thing too that I think if they don't do it right, people are still
Yeah.
going to complain about it.
Oh my
'Cause
gosh.
the easy way to do it would just be to let you map the 4 directions on the D-pad.
Yeah.
But if they do that, people are going to complain because they're like, well, I want to always be able to sit and wave. So I only really have 2 options.
I want to be able to actually have my character wave because in Destiny 1, my human character would wave. And now my human character does a weird bow thing. Like I'm awoken or something.
Huh. I would like my Titan, to be able to sit down. I'm tired of this kneeling crap.
Yeah, you got to be. Wait, your hunter doesn't? Oh no, it's your
No,
Titan.
my hunter sits. My Titan kneels on one leg, and my warlock kneels on 2.
Yeah, like a
You
meditation
guys just aren't
pose.
relaxed enough.
Yeah.
You guys,
I guess.
you guys learn.
I mean, I always figured that the heavy Titan armor is just kind of like it's almost like sitting down in a chair or something that you just kind of lock the armor in place and you're comfortable and you don't need to move yet.
That would be a really funny emote for sit, as if it just had him go in a sitting position. There's no chair there.
No, you could whip out like a little folding, camp chair.
A glowing one, like the
camp
broom
chair.
or the
Yeah,
microphone.
it'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I'd use that all the time.
that'd be great.
Oh,
like an
dear.
Adirondack chair, maybe.
Oh,
Like
gee,
high back.
yeah, that's what I want to carry around.
Hey,
We
one
just, like,
thing
whip
this
it
could
out
do
and glow in the
we
dark.
haven't thought about is maybe they'll put more emotes in doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because then you wouldn't have to have 2 devoted to wave, for example.
could be good. Could be good.
And then Eververse will sell them, or you can try to get them at random over the next 6 weeks.
So Crucible stuff. I'm super excited about private matches. I didn't get to do a whole lot of private matches in Destiny 1. But I'd really love to be able to get some DBO game nights going.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I think
So
that'd be
I
fantastic.
thought I was a big proponent of private matches, of them putting private matches into the game, and I was really excited when they did, and then we never used them. We never actually. I mean, we almost never played them.
I think a big part of the problem is that, at least in Destiny 1, and I'm afraid that this is the way it's going to go with the Warmind release, but is that there was no customization available. You couldn't change how many points you wanted. If we wanted to play a 400 point, capture game, that wasn't
Flag
an
at
option.
home to score. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes, and back in the days of Halo, some of those weird, wacky game types were just that was sort of the ridiculous fun that you could have with your friends. You'd never trust that kind of game type to just matchmaking, but if you're in a group with all your friends, that's a lot more fun.
Well, and it's like I'm always a proponent of you can't compare game franchises.
Yeah,
but it does seem weird that a very basic feature of private matches didn't even have as much customization as Halo 1, because Halo 1 didn't have a ton, but it had more than we got.
Some. Yeah,
it had some. And we basically, it's almost none. It's basically like playing a match with your friends, and that's it. Which is, I mean, they call it private matches, I guess. They don't call it custom matches, but
you're right.
I hadn't
That's
even
true.
thought
That
of
is a
that.
distinction. Somebody had a meeting about that.
So problem solved. Okay. Next topic.
never mind. We take back all our
complaints. Now, when they release custom matches, then there's no customization. Then
Right.
Then we'll get our pitchforks out.
That's right.
Are you guys feeling vault space problems? Because I'm not feeling vault space
Nah.
problems.
think Claude
I
said
was
he is.
feeling vault space problems until I completely gave up on collecting things. Now I collect nothing, and I'm perfectly happy. I still got an almost full vault, but I'm not. I don't feel problems when I get close to the end. I just delete a bunch of stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, I've sort of been approaching. I guess that's the way I've been going about it. I am collecting specifically the items that I'm interested in, and when I come across something that I am not trying to collect, I just delete it.
Yeah.
So I used to collect ships. I would try to keep as many ships as I got, and then I realized there's not really room for them, and they don't do anything for you. So I keep the few that I find interesting to look at, and trash the rest.
Yeah, I pretty much just keep the exotic ones.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've got I think my hunter still uses my Iron Banner ship, which is non-exotic, but the other two use exotic ones.
This goes to show how little I've really paid attention to that. With the exotic ships, can you access those from the exotic kiosks, or is that just for weapons and gear?
No ships.
No ships.
No ships or sparrows.
So if you delete them,
makes me
they're
kind of
gone.
sad. Yeah, because I deleted some exotic ship a while back. I'm like, oh.
Well,
yeah.
and I think that's something we see on the roadmap, the gear collections. I'm assuming that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
For everything, hopefully.
Yeah. I don't know.
September though. That's a ways out.
Yep.
I haven't felt like they've shifted the meta so much in any direction that I've felt left out by deleting stuff. I mean, the biggest shift recently has been, as Bjorn mentioned, the pulse rifle changes, and I had enough pulse rifles that I kept around that I liked that it wasn't a problem to try them out. But I don't know. There's I get used to what I like using, and that's what I use. You could probably delete 90% of what's in my vault, and I'd be upset when you did it, and then I wouldn't care.
If you did it without telling me, it would take me like months to notice.
Yeah.
Right. So recently I've been collecting armor sets because, so it's kind of fun. So, I picked up all of Ikora's gear for all the characters, and so
that's hard to do because it takes a long time. A lot of those missions to get the tokens.
It really does. Like when I started doing it, it was 3 meditations a week plus the challenges and all that stuff, and it still took a 2 or 3 weeks. But once it was done, so now I can set them up as loadouts, and I can, in the tower, jump between my starting gear on all characters and her gear, which is exactly the same except cleaned up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun. Like it doesn't get you anything, but it's just kind of a cool thing. So you set your own challenges and you just work towards them. I don't know.
I think that's sort of the idea they're going for, right? You have enough options out there that you can tell the story that you want to tell, do the things that you want to do.
That's how they were expecting people to play, because they put a lot of different designs in the game. They just didn't put a lot of like customization, I guess would be the right word. You can't gear's not random.
Right.
So
yeah, and no full armor set is something I want to wear all the time. There are no armor sets that I choose where everything is from the same place.
Is that because of how it looks, or because of like the stats on it?
Because of the stats on it.
Oh, you can change that over time.
No, even not really. Like not to the point where I want to. So there are a couple of armor sets where like I can't get mobility down below 4, and that means there's 3 points that I can't use for resilience and recovery.
you can with masterwork. It literally makes them identical if you get the masterwork changes.
Yeah, but that's a random. Now I have to
for sure.
I have to pay 10 times, and I might not even have.
Yes.
Yeah, and I tried that once, and I went through 5 or 6 changes, and I was like, I just don't have the cores for this.
Well,
oh, yeah.
as Bjorn would say, I just get super lucky because I have 2 sets that I've made into recovery armor.
Oh wow,
that's exactly what I want.
Yeah, my Titan has at least. No, my Titan and Hunter both have a full Masterworks set of armor at this point. That I spent the extra cores to get to the right stats.
Yeah, the only thing I've masterworked so far is my my raid gear.
Oh,
so I have sets that I wear that are the right stats, but they're not all from the same collection, right? And even if they were from the same collection, if I use the collection, I can't use an exotic, right?
Right.
So
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, you really only need 3.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, I have them, but I don't ever use them except in the tower.
Do you think they're gonna go with this gear collections coming in season 4? Do you think they're gonna go? I forget what they're called, but like set bonuses, where if you're wearing all gear from a common set, then you wear 2 pieces of gear from the set to get this perk. Wear 3 pieces of gear from the set to get that first perk and this other perk.
That would be really cool. That would definitely get the stuff more organized.
So the thing they'd have to do if they do that is they have to make those gear bonuses as good as wearing an exotic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I think that's where the challenge is going to be.
Make each set, once you get all the pieces, that it does unlock some kind of exotic overall perk sort of thing. That'd be kinda cool.
I think that's the way to do it. And they kind of went that route in a very strange way with the SRL racing gear back in Destiny 1, where once you put on all of the racing gear, you started to blink. Like you had these cool blinking lights on your suit. And it was not documented anywhere. You didn't know that was going to happen. But and as soon as you took off one of the pieces, the whole thing stopped working.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
there's
then
obviously
if you deleted
some sort
one,
of logic.
you were doomed for a year.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I did that.
So did I.
Well, there's for all of the faction gear, you had to run a Nightfall with all the gear on in order to get the helmet. Ornament.
So they're sort of tilting in that direction, but not quite committing that way.
Not fully, right?
I definitely think it'd be cool, like the bonuses they have on the raid gear that they added to the raid gear. We all love, like
I think those are
the
great.
freaking.
Yep.
What is it?
One of us has not
damage.
used them at all. My Titan armor raid gear is like some kind of ugly big bad Beetleborg design. I'm like, I'm just deleting these.
Yeah, but your lack of damage output was because you were using Darcy.
I was using Darcy. Darcy gives a damage bonus when it locks on, and it should talk to you, but it doesn't yet.
This was before
it should
the patch,
talk
by the
to
way.
you.
Oh, you gotta go read the Darcy lore.
The lore for it, yeah.
Oh my god!
It says that it.
Well, I mean, so super good advice should have talked to you as well. There's a whole range of intelligent weapons in Destiny that we just
they should hire some voice actors to do you get a headshot and a nice shot.
I totally understand like them not wanting to annoy the player, but it's like just put a note on there that you can turn off that it's like shut up.
It's an extra mod button. You click it on and off.
Yeah, I totally love that.
I'd probably use it for a little while.
Be kind of fun. But speaking about masterworks, we have the exotic weapon masterworks coming. Have they? As far as I know, they haven't really said what that means.
Not a thing
and I'm
yet.
sort of curious.
And that's if they can make orbs.
Right. Apart from orb generation.
I'm super looking forward to that because that's.
Yeah.
I actually like sometimes feel bad where I'm like, well, if I use this exotic, I won't create orbs anymore.
I mean, the other side of that though is that the orbs that are created aren't that powerful. They're the small orbs, and
they are. But
when you do 39 of them per match or something, they get pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's true.
It really does increase the number of supers you get.
Like it's not going to make it so you get your super twice as fast, I don't think, but even 10 or 20% faster, that's.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's more than
that's
that.
a big deal. Yeah, I think
and I guess it's more of a difference with the new the go fast.
So
system.
here's an easy example for you. So if you run one of the two Mercury strikes and you don't use exotic and you don't use masterwork weapons, you'll be about 15% supercharged when you walk through the top door, the first door, right? Before you get to the forest. If you use masterworks weapons and you guys are all efficient at shooting pairs, you'll be more than 50% charged when you go through the door. And that's just the first, minute of the game, right? It's a significant boost.
So do we think though that with the exotic masterworks that will be the only difference is that they're going to generate orbs?
Well, they're going to give stat bonuses, I would assume. Because
I'd be okay if that was it. I mean, I'd be okay if that was it. Just so I'm not losing out.
I guess stat bonuses on exotic sort of scares me a little bit.
I actually kind of hope that they have special stat bonuses for exotics.
Well, but remember, they're redoing like a ton of the exotics anyway, so they may not need to do stat bonuses and stuff. And maybe, this thing's actually useful now.
Well, but I don't think Masterworks would be Masterworks without the stat bonuses. Like that. Like we didn't even care about the orb thing when they first announced it because we didn't realize it was also for the person using the gun.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
everybody was excited about the stat bonuses, and then it just turned out that holy crap, this is amazing with the orbs. And now
right, and the
people
stat
barely
bonuses
care
are
about the
almost
stat
irrelevant.
bonuses.
Yeah.
Curious.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the changes are.
So it's April 24th, right? Is when they're going to do the reveal live stream, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
For Warmind, yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty short window.
They haven't really talked about what they're even going to show on that at all, which is the first time they haven't talked about it beforehand.
But they did say that Vicarious Visions are going to be there with them, which is an interesting thing.
That is interesting.
Is that the first time that they've had an outside studio participate in the launch info?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
For Destiny stuff, yeah. I mean, back in Halo, they would have Max Hoberman from Certain Affinity talk about the new maps that he'd been working on.
Mm-hmm.
But
that hardly counts since he'd been Bungie long before he was Certain Affinity.
Right. Yeah, but I think as far as a precedent, I think that's the only other thing I can think of. That is, I hadn't heard that. That's very interesting. I'm curious to see what that stream will be like. I'm going to be out of town for it, so I'll have to watch it after the fact.
Yep.
Where are we on here? We got heroic strike modifiers.
Well, there's a couple of things on there we don't know what they mean. One of them's Nightfall challenge card, if that's not just a mistake.
Yeah.
And there's also seasonal vendor progression.
Oh, yeah, I missed that one.
I have no idea what that means. Like, is that going to be leveling up like in Destiny 1? Because it didn't do anything in Destiny 1.
There was a point where it did, where you had to like hit rank 3 or rank 5 to get access to...
Let me rephrase. It didn't do anything after the first month of playing.
No. You had to get to level 25 to get some of the high-end ships and shaders and stuff. And it was a mission it would kick off.
You didn't hit level 25 with FWC in the first month?
I didn't hit level 25 of FWC, period.
He's like hardcore New Monarchy. You're the problem.
I was more.
I am the problem.
I was more saying I'm pretty sure I hit F25 with FWC like within the first couple months.
Oh, and I missed the first one. Seasonal Crucible rankings.
Yep.
Yeah. How are we feeling about ranked match play coming back?
I've never been really that interested in ranked PvP. I know there's people that are going to be super excited about it, but
yeah, I'm a little afraid to get into a game with those people.
Yeah, exactly. The last time I tried was Halo Reach, and I think I got I could be remembering the tiers here, but I think I got Onyx once and then never played again.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did with Halo 2. I managed to get my Rumble to 49, I think. And then I just stopped
playing. So they fixed that in later years. So you can't do that anymore. Now you lose ranking over time if you don't play.
Right. Well, and that's how it was in Reach. I got Onyx in it in one season.
Right, and so this is seasonal Crucible rankings. I can't read that and say it at the same time, apparently. So yeah, my guess is you just build it up as high as you can for the season, and then it resets with Season 4.
Yeah.
Could be interesting. Could be, I don't know. Sometimes the way Destiny plays, it gets a little sweaty. I mean, Trials is kind of already pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how much more intense I want non-trial stuff to get, but I'll definitely check it out. It'll be one of those things where we'll get a couple wins and it'll suck me in, and then I'll become a monster.
I'll check it out and remember how terrible I've gotten at PvP, and I'll quit.
Throw your disc out the window.
If I had a disc.
If you had a disc, yeah.
Yeah.
I still have a disc on the PlayStation.
What are you playing mostly on PlayStation these days, Claude? Or are you still splitting platforms, or?
I'm splitting platforms, so I play during the week on the Xbox and on weekends on the PlayStation.
Okay. Raga, you have acquired a PlayStation, but you're not Destiny.
Yeah, I don't even have PlayStation Now or whatever it's called. So I don't have any multiplayer on there. Yeah,
PS Plus,
whatever it's called.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just after grinding a bunch of characters on both platforms for Destiny 1, I just can't do it anymore.
Same.
There's that
I had
issues.
every intention of having characters on both platforms, but I've not even touched the PlayStation yet.
Well, and I swore I was going to play a lot on PC, but it's a lot of time to put it into it on two platforms.
Cross-platform play, Bungie.
Yeah.
Come on, make it happen.
That
That'd be
Even just
pretty amazing.
even just cross-platform saves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be play.
That's
Just
true.
say,
Yeah.
That's true.
Then I literally would have bought it on PlayStation. Also, I'd jump in there if somebody wanted to play on PlayStation.
That'd be amazing. Be able to use my one character on all three platforms. That'd
Yeah.
be tons of fun.
yeah. What would they lose from that? I mean, they'd make money on all the sales.
Well, it's not.
I don't think it's
I
them.
don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I get the sense it's Microsoft and Sony button heads.
Arr.
And Blizzard is probably in there somewhere going, me too.
Yeah.
So the other big part of the season 3 is the whole, story element. And we might have somebody here tonight who can maybe talk about some Destiny story a little bit.
Does Destiny have a story?
Oh dear.
You're gonna have to go back to those
I'm
notes,
out.
Raga.
I'm out.
He just rage quit. Nice job.
Yep.
Now we don't have anyone to talk about story. So there was a discussion that we'd had earlier this week that I'd sort of like to recreate here, but without the violence.
I need to not curse this time. Okay.
Yeah. So we've got this new DLC coming out. It's titled simply, oddly enough, Warmind, which, as far as we know, means Rasputin. It was declared in Destiny 2, there is only one Warmind.
It is what Ikora says, but we don't know if we can believe her.
It's kind of weird.
The context there is weird too, though, because I think she might have meant there's only one more mind left.
Oh, interesting.
That's how I read it too. People didn't agree with me, and I didn't argue with them. But
I
that's
never
how
even heard that
understood it.
argument. But
Yeah, I
think
always interpreted it
I'd
as
go up
there
on
was
that.
one Warmind, like sort of a hive mind Warmind.
Yeah.
But so the argument, though, the conversation we had was about Rasputin is one of the I guess oldest Destiny story elements, right? It had been teased. That was a name we knew before the game even had like footage, right? Like
we'd heard Charlemagne and we'd heard Rasputin.
Yeah,
Probably like in those old like Pathways Out of Darkness video or something, like the original launch trailer
exactly.
thing.
Yeah,
right?
It was even like when they did that reveal with Joe Staten. I don't remember who else was in it. They show like a vault with a bunch of treasure in it, and they called it Charlemagne's vault.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so if you go with the theory that there's only one Warmind, they were talking about Rasputin too, even though it was Charlemagne's fault.
Yeah, on the one Warmind question, if you read through it, I mean, there's one kind of almost like a missive from Rasputin where he's kind of talking about when the darkness came to attack the system, and it's a cool one. But he talks about how they did battle, and all his fellow kind of legendary names. I'd have to go read it to get the wording right, but he's like, he's like, I was a legend and I fought this thing, and my brothers and sisters were legends too, and they all died, or something like that. And so he says he's going to try to to basically escape the end of the universe, which is, of course, a good old Bungie concept. And he's going to shout their names at the end of the universe or something like that. But then there's a later piece of lore, old grimoire from Destiny 1. It was pre the darkness coming. There was a general that was like hang gliding around the Cosmodrome. And this general is talking to what's called a submind. It's like a part of the Warmind, and this submind is kind of like a liaison between Rasputin and like humanity or something. And like Rasputin, even back then, didn't talk a lot to people, says the submind, and the general says something like, "Well, he can just sulk then. I'm gonna be doing what I'm doing." And so, could it be that Rasputin is just a name for part of the Warmind network? But I mean, then we get other things where there's the colony ships each had their AIs, like Failsafe. Yeah. But like Exodus Red has a neat AI that it's like it's continuing to go through this distress signal loop. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Didn't it? Well, apologize. Sorry. Let me continue what I was talking about. You know, things are looking bad out there. Then the mayday, mayday, mayday comes back around, and it keeps apologizing for the distress signal. But it refers to Rasputin as the smartest of the Warminds and stuff like that.
So a ship AI is a Warmind? I'm not sure.
No, the Exodus Red had its own AI. Like, Exodus Black had Failsafe,
right?
Which is its little ship AI.
He's not saying it's a
Warmind.
Right.
No. They're not Warminds.
Using the Exodus Red just mentioned it.
Yeah, okay. Exodus Red was talking about Rasputin giving orders and stuff like that during the course of the battles against the darkness.
But only referred to it as the smartest of the Warminds.
Yeah.
Thus implying a plurality.
Which implies, right. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Very interesting. So with this expansion, we can expect a new raid lair, right? That's what's been discussed, which means a smaller, more compact raid experience. We don't know if it has anything to do with a Warmind or if it's somehow back on the Leviathan or who knows what.
I would expect the Leviathan. I think.
Yeah, same.
Kind of switching gears just for a second. I think the Leviathan is one of the coolest pieces of storytelling, maybe in all of Destiny, in that it's an ongoing story that presumably is going to have an end at some point. We can't just keep that thing floating out there.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of loose ends.
Yeah.
Because it's still eating Nessus, right? So yeah, kind of strange. So we have the raid layer, and then we're gonna have whatever story content we get. But the conversation we'd had before was, Raga, I believe you were arguing that something like the Warmind, Rasputin, that storyline, that story arc, feels like it deserves something like its own Comet-sized release, like the Taken King-sized release, where it's a new title update with whole new environments and big story.
Right.
And there's some concern about this maybe not, being enough, and hoping that this isn't like going to try to just tie up some big story with a small bow or...
Yeah, from my perspective, Warminds have been mentioned all over the Destiny universe, from before the collapse, before the darkness came to wipe out humanity and do whatever it wanted to do to the Traveler. I mean, starting back, some of the earliest stories were of the Ishtar Collective, this group of scientists that we explored their ruins on Venus in Destiny 1. And these scientists had come to Venus because the Traveler had terraformed it, and then they found these Vex structures that were still there for some reason. Maybe the Vex came before the Traveler, and they said it was like millions of years before humanity got to Venus, were these old Vex structures. So they set up the Ishtar Academy that we went all through in Destiny 1 to study the Vex structures. Well, as part of that, this one group of scientists somehow found an old Vex unit laying around. And this Vex unit started simulating them. It started simulating, I forget the number, it's like 147 copies of them or something. Like, to the point that there's a a funny phrase in one of them. The two of the scientists are kind of arguing back and forth about what it means. And one of them says, I think we need to call a meeting. And the other one says, yeah, your simulated self just said the same thing. And in order to get out of this simulation, they eventually determined, well, we have to assume that we are in a simulation, like we're not real, because the math just works against you. If there's 100 simulated copies and one real copy, the math says you're the simulated copy. The real copy is someone else. So you have to, assume that if you start messing up the simulation, the Vex is going to do all sorts of horrible things to you because you're just data. So they say, okay, let's call a Warmind. A Warmind is too big to be simulated. It's, I guess, too much processing power. They don't get into it. But, presumably a Warmind or the Warmind network is the most powerful computing system like humanity's ever come across, other than maybe the Traveler, if they count it as computers or not. So apparently that works. They get out of the Vex simulation because the Warmind overpowers it or something, because it was just one Vex unit. It wasn't like the thing in the Osiris, the Infinite Forest. It was a whole planet-sized simulator system, which was one Vex could do, 100 or 200 copies of, 4 scientists kind of thing. So they get out and then they come back, and what are basically exobodies. And they continue kind of their research, because by kind of remote projecting themselves through robotic bodies, they don't have to worry about their physical bodies being taken over or simulated again. They can just leave the exobodies or whatever. So Warminds are mentioned there. But these same Star Collective scientists have kept appearing in the Destiny lore all the way up into Destiny 2. That there's another one, 2 of them in particular, Maya Sundaresh and Chioma Isi, I think it is. These 2 keep appearing. And Maya went off to Tibet, where she was working on this strange system, this strange machine that could project your thoughts into the past or future. And when people would go into this machine, they would get strange visions, or really weird physical things would happen to them because it was based on Vex technology. Well, this machine kept hurting people, kept killing or like freezing people, all sorts of strange effects. And it's mentioned that a Warmind suggests maybe that they could use this one type of special drug to help insulate their minds from the machine. Well, this machine goes on to become the machine that the Future War Cult is always babbling about. If you read their item descriptions, that they keep putting their initiates into these machines, and they either see the darkness winning, or they see their own deaths, or occasionally, every once in a while, they see humanity winning against the darkness. But this machine is tied to Warminds because a Warmind was involved in the project to develop the machine before the darkness came. And then, going forward from there, obviously Warminds were involved in humanity's defense against the darkness, to the point that, if you read and interpret there's 3 or 4 reports that come from Rasputin, where he says, basically, it lists out all these different conditions. If all these different things are met, and the conditions are a little vague, but it's if this happens and this happens and this happens, then do this, kind of is the result of the conditions. And the result appears to read that Rasputin decided to, if things go bad enough, to either nuke the Traveler or shoot it with something even more powerful than the nuke to keep it from leaving, forcing it to defend itself and defend humanity. Mm-hmm. And so Rasputin probably maybe did that to the Traveler. Like all the damage we see, that may have been our weapons that did attack the Traveler, not necessarily the darkness. And then in that same kind of grouping, Rasputin then says, okay, I've done this, now I'm going to hide, because this darkness that came was more powerful than even the Traveler. And there's no way I can beat it right now, so I'm going to go into hiding and try to find a way to beat it. So, and that leads us to where we are today, where Destiny 1 started. Rasputin's in hiding. The reason the Fallen swarmed the Cosmodrome because they started finding signs of him. And then, of course, we connect him to the last array in that one mission with the great little soundtrack bit. where the
So
big
good.
antenna comes out of the ground and unfolds. And he links up over to Mars, which we then go over to Mars, and we go, there's that one mission, you go up the tower, and you eventually scan a different AR part, and your ghost says, oh, well, Rasputin's over here now, and now he's everywhere. So Warmind and Rasputin has been in the background of Destiny this whole time. And now we have a DLC titled Warmind, but it's basically the $15 version of a DLC, $30, whatever, the cheap version. They're not going to try to wrap this up, are they? I mean,
I'm hoping that this leads into a new Comet release. That whatever happens here is the launching arc for taking us into the next big story.
Sure, but my fear is that we're going to get something like Curse of Osiris, which, maybe Osiris can come back in some other fashion. Doesn't really feel like that's planned, at least not anytime soon. He's kind of off doing his thing, patrolling time and space.
Yeah,
Occasionally he calls for help.
Back.
And they did answer most of the questions we had about Osiris, not satisfactorily, but
sure.
and so I
don't want that to happen to Rasputin is the thing. Right. I don't want that to happen to the Warmind network. Oh yeah, okay, he's done. Now he's just going to be calculating a solution, and maybe we'll get back to him in Destiny 3. Maybe. Yeah. I don't want that to happen. I want it to be something big and flashy, and I mean, there's more I could go into, but it feels like this is one of the core mysteries of Destiny, and it's been teased for so long. I hope we get something as big as it deserves.
Well, and I think a couple things about it, though, just to I don't know if I'd call it a counter argument, but one reason why I'm not as worried is you look at the one image we have for Warmind.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually looking at it now. It's amazing.
Yeah, same here. And aside from just the Warmind aesthetic that we have, we also have stuff that looks a lot like Siva. It's the same red glow.
Yeah.
The kind of randomly assembled wires. So I actually wonder how much this is going to have to do with the Warmind core mystery, or if it's just going to be Siva 2, if it's going to be more the Siva threat shows up and the Warmind's going to help us, whatever Warmind it is, whether it's Rasputin or whatever you have, or is going to help us fight back Siva.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Because I think if they were going to wrap up the Rasputin storyline, it wouldn't be about Siva. I think the Warmind storyline would be a lot bigger than that. I mean, it ties a lot to the actual darkness, not the old minions of the darkness that now aren't minions of the darkness.
Right. I mean, that I just always thought that was UI text. That wasn't.
Oh yeah, I
to be story,
agree.
But
I agree, but I mean, they did in a lot of outside of game stuff call the Fallen and all of them the minions of the darkness. It's just lore wise it didn't really, it never really connected. But so I don't know, I'm not too worried about it. If anything, I'm hoping, my way out there wish is that this is actually a prequel to the darkness coming back. That's my crazy pie in the sky dreams of what this short DLC is going to be about.
We haven't heard much from you, Claude. Do you have any thoughts on it?
No, I've been doing my best to sort of not read stuff about it and not really speculate in my own head about it, because I've gotten it wrong every time, and I kind of feel like I'll just see what they give me and see how happy I am then.
All right, I have a task for you then.
Oh.
Okay.
I think your goal here, your project, is to figure out what ballet music will feature in this release.
What?
Yeah, it's a good task. Good luck.
should we have a contest on the forums?
I think that'd be fantastic.
I know nothing about
Everybody
ballet.
gets one
I know
guess.
nothing about ballet, so
You got a lot of work to do then.
I,
That
why
would be
does
wonderful.
there have to be any ballet music involved?
Well, you know, he's a ballet fan, Rasputin.
Well, every time Rasputin's appeared, he's never talked to us really, but he's announced himself with ballet music of various sorts.
You remember the whole oh goodness, I can't remember the name of that strike or mission from D1 where he went down into the Warmind room and had to fight off all the hive. And he was playing ballet music loudly in the background the whole time.
Why was it ballet music?
Because he's
He's a
Specifically,
ballet
Russian
fan.
ballet music, so
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
where it comes from.
Yes.
But how did
They
you know?
actually-
He didn't say it was ballet music, did he?
Well, there's a
flavor
The
line.
internet knows.
Who's the person that said it? Because there's a person that says, "Oh, I'm glad you saved Rasputin. There's so few
I
ballet
think it's
fans
Eris.
left."
Oh,
says
that's
it.
right. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Well, and the Ghost says that particular line, but Eris talks about the ballet music a little bit, I think. Like as you get near the door, it starts to open, and Eris says something like, something's wrong. He's playing the wrong music or something like that.
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad you brought up Eris. That's a character that I've been missing in Destiny 2. She was pretty prominent in Destiny 1. I was enjoying her story arc. We had some cool
She's
interaction.
been mentioned enough times that she's got to come back.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, when Savathun comes back,
Yeah.
she's gonna come back.
Do you think that's when it's going to be? It'll be at that same time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like 99% sure.
So
Okay,
I mean, that
so
seems
I have one question for you. Before we move on from Rasputin, I do have one question about that art that they distributed recently.
Mm-hmm.
So Rasputin was on Earth in D1, right? As far as we knew, or most of him was.
Correct. Yeah.
And the only time he's mentioned off planet in D2 is on Nessus, and he's not there. So why
In fact,
is
specifically
Phobos
they
in
say
this picture? I guess
They specifically say that Rasputin seemed to have gotten trapped on Earth or something like that. I think Akora says it. It's in one of the early actual missions that she kind of offhandedly says he seems not to be, throughout the rest of the network or something like that. That implies that he's either been trapped on Earth or trapped somewhere.
So why is Phobos in this picture that they released last week?
This is Mars.
is it?
That also makes you wonder though
Actually, both of them are. I can see Divinos and Phobos.
the fact that they didn't call it Rasputin
Yeah,
makes me wonder if it's going to be
A different
if
Warmind.
it's going to be some other Warmind.
The old rumor, remember there was the old rumor that, and it may have been also from the old videos, where it was something like Rasputin was supposed to get kidnapped or trapped or something like that, and Charlemagne was also mentioned kind of in that same context. I think one of the ideas floating around was that maybe Charlemagne has reawoken sort of thing and is trying to do his own thing and has somehow grabbed control of Rasputin or has locked Rasputin away or something, which could be interesting because we don't know actually who's the good guy and who's the bad guy there. That's the way they're going.
Actually, that's really funny. I was looking at so in that desktop picture that they released, the moon is in it, but in the there's a
in the
separate
little
news post
screenshot. Yeah,
from
it's cropped
before.
before you can see it.
Yeah, it's not in there.
But Deimos isn't.
Yeah, it is cropped. You're right. Yeah.
Deimos is visible in the cropped version, but not not Phobos.
Well, you can see I forget which is which now. Let's see. Phobos is the big one. Phobos, if you see Deimos, the little one, it's obviously a moon. Kind of just go down from that and slightly to the left. There's the outline of Phobos.
Got it.
Sitting there.
Then what's the thing over to the right of Deimos? There's like a satellite array in the sky with like a white
Warsets, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe.
There's an old Grimoire article. There's like this hunter is watching this battle between Cabal forces and Vex forces, and all of a sudden she kind of feels a tingle, and then from the sky like comes like rockets and energy beams. That these war sats that we picked up the pieces of in Destiny 1, they were supposedly pretty serious pieces of equipment, like able to rain down death and destruction enough that these Vex and Cabal like retreated away from their own battle because this one satellite was like shooting both of them. So
actually, I'm looking at the 4K version of the wallpaper.
Oh yeah,
now,
definitely.
And it looks like it's actually just an element of the room. Whatever the thing in the middle is, the sort of reddish diamond.
Yeah.
It's sort of a piece of that room. But
we think that's a room, or is that just
there's something going on
stuff? There.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it is actually Mars, I'm hoping they at least mention Charlemagne.
Yeah.
Because that's his that's where his vault is. So.
Oh, that's right.
And maybe that's what this story is. Maybe this is the Charlemagne story.
That could be cool. Like I also noticed there's the ice flows on the left, and in that one strange Nessus mission with the different music types. At the very end of it, doesn't your ghost who kind of gets taken over by something? It mentions something about ice and then Mars. Well, now we see some ice flows here.
Yeah, maybe that at all.
They're on the right as well. So
yeah, and it's definitely Mars landscape on the right. It's the red sands and stuff. So
could be interesting.
Oh. I don't know. But we'll find out in a couple of weeks.
We will.
Yep.
A couple of short weeks. Kind of exciting.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
So I'm trying to think about what else we have here to cover.
I think we've covered most of it.
I know.
I'm definitely curious to see what they're going to do in the summer, because it sounds like they're saying that there's not going to be a DLC release in the summer.
Mm.
Yeah, but it was just a sort of a mid DLC patch, kind of like the 1.1.4 that we just got,
right.
But for feature updates.
Well, then they say new seasonal event.
Mm-hmm. Like a summer festival or something.
Which I think we're all hoping also SRL will come back.
Yes.
Oh, so good. I hope that every time, and I'm constantly disappointed. So
it seems so easy too. You make a windy map. You give everybody sparrows. You turn on instant death when you jump off, and you're done. And I'm sure there's a designer there, like his head in his hands, cursing at me now. Or
oh yeah.
Yeah. Let me piss them off a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
Let me piss them off a little more. I mean, can't they just copy and paste from D1? I mean, come on.
Oh dear. Yeah. And I mean, go get Art of Destiny 2. It's got some great SRL images in there. Some great racing images, some great logos and stuff for different like SRL teams, if I remember right.
Yep.
And it's like they were clearly thinking about it.
Well, and the lore mentions
the lore. It's all
multiple
over the
times.
lore.
It's all over the lore, yeah. In
Like,
weird places that you wouldn't expect.
I saw that one y'all posted. It was probably my favorite one the other day.
I love that one.
The consensus, which is kind of the governing body of the city, has met together, and this includes the speaker. It includes Ikora and Zavala and Cade, and they're quizzing this one guardian whose name I forget. It's a female guardian, I believe, and she's got apparently a dragon symbol on her sparrow, a racing sparrow, which dragons are, of course, and I say of course, but whatever. Dragons are closely associated with the Ahamkara. They're talking, wish-granting dragons. And so this guardian's being accused of making a legal pact with an Ahamkara to win in the SRL. And the different sides debate back and forth. And Ikora's like not paying attention. And someone calls her to task, says, Ikora, don't you have anything to say? She says, oh, I wasn't paying attention. And she says, it's clear that this guardian didn't make a deal with Ahamkara. And someone says, probably Cade says, why? Or maybe Zavala says, why? And she says, well, if she had, she would win more often. And Cade gives a long whistle, and then I forget who it was. I guess Zavala kind of calls the meeting back to order and says, "Okay, let it be known that she has not made an deal with
Let it be known
Ahamkara,
that
and that dragons are cool."
cool.
Yes, because that was part of it. The Guardian had said, "The reason I have a dragon on my sparrow is dragons are cool," and so the consensus officially agreed as city business that yes, dragons are cool. So that's pretty awesome.
And now one of my haikus will make more sense if people.
People do your haikus. There's prizes to win.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Actually,
right.
I meant to bring some of this up, Raga. You've been doing some really great work for community building and trying to have us weave our own stories and share them with everyone. So we've got the not left. Was it not?
No longer neglected.
No longer neglected. Yeah, thank you. So we've got No Longer Neglected, which is the fan fiction project that you're trying to lead.
When I'm not personally neglecting it, it's going great.
Yeah.
We took March off for some strange reason. I'm not sure why. Yeah, No Longer Neglected was fun because I think it was Claude that he posted on a news story sometime last year, something like the often neglected fan fiction. I'm like, okay, that's a challenge. I'm fixing this. And now I'm laughing at this haiku month or whatever it's going to be, that someone's going to be poking along the fan fiction thing, in years in the future. And they're going to come across like 10 or 12 haiku sets for no apparent reason.
And wonder what they're doing.
And what the heck are you people doing? It's going to be great.
Right.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then we also have the aperturing Destiny, which my phone always hates when I type it in. Because it's not
mine's
a word.
learned how to spell it wrong now. It's great.
And
I only got to type in like a couple of letters, and it gets aperturing. Then it pops up next. It pops up Destiny for me as well. So. No, that's been a fun one just to say, hey, let's take some screenshots and videos and stuff. And that one actually came about from, the big number criticism debate a while back. I think it was Cruel Legacy or somebody had posted, okay, that's fine. We need to, all be a little bit less critical, whatever. But then he said, one of the things that we haven't seen in a while is we haven't seen the same level of telling our stories and showing off the fun things. I said, okay. Well, let's do that then. And I think that's been a pretty good success. There's been a couple of weeks that nobody's participated, but most weeks we've gotten all sorts of great videos and stories and screenshots. Yeah, and it's still going pretty good.
Some great.
I enjoy reading them.
In-game photography from some people. It's pretty cool.
And then there's always the big one that I should probably get back to at some point.
Oh, the Oni bite-sized backstory.
Oh,
so good.
You know what? I could do that. Oni's a lot of fun, and there's actually a good bit of lore in Oni too, which is strange. But I guess it's a Bungie game, so.
Oni too? No. What?
Oh, I swear. It's so funny because I missed out on the whole Oni thing. Really, like I know there's people on our forums even that are like still angry they didn't get their multiplayer or whatever. It's like I read about it in a Mac Addict magazine.
I got
once.
to play Oni multiplayer and it was a lot of fun.
It was not a lot of fun. What are you talking about?
I had a great time.
Happy they didn't include it. It was terrible.
I had a wonderful time. I was enjoying Macworld, and I got to go play Oni multiplayer, and I had a wonderful time. I remember nothing about it.
Oh well. No, but
I remember that Macworld, and it wasn't wonderful. I mean, Macworld was wonderful, and actually Bungie's presence there was wonderful, but Oni multiplayer, not so much.
Did it not
See,
work?
but I wonder.
You're just getting killed a lot.
I wonder how much of that though is you were just happy to be invited to play it.
Well, anybody who was at the show could play. I mean, it was.
Oh, I know.
It was open for playing.
I'm just saying how happy Bjorn was just to be there.
Just to be there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. That's totally. That was my point. I was completely like I was like freshman of high school or something, and me and my buddy were down in San Francisco for a few days to go to Macworld and have a good time, and we got to go like meet the guys from Bungie, and we were super nerding out. It was so good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that April Fool's thing though, that was a whole lot of fun. It was, we were talking back and forth about it, and I was like, yeah, no, I could do this one, but why stop there? And so I did as
You
many
put
as
so
I
much
could
work into that. Holy moly.
I mean, I started 2 days before. I got 3 full articles, and I was considering doing more. And I had to put it into it just because it was going to take too long to do the formatting for the board mainly.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
And I was feeling super guilty that I hadn't done anything for April Fools. And then I got a note from Bjorn, and everything was good.
That's funny.
that literally, like, our side of it, the admin side of it, came together in about like 10 minutes.
Raga was like, here, Bjorn, can you post all this stuff for me and edit my posts? And I said, yeah, sure.
No problem.
And then we started going, well, what if we changed the banner? And then what if we...
Just change the title of the page. This will be fun.
What I thought was the nicest little touch was the Fireteam Builder. The links worked because they still went to Destiny.Bungie.Org, but they showed Oni.Bungie.org.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really
the visit
cool.
front page link went to Oni.Bungie.org
Yep.
at some point.
Yeah,
which
I
was a
actually
lot of
hijacked
fun.
the front page link.
Yeah.
It's still up. It's still running, and there's still a forum there.
That was actually the amazing part, was that like it had recent posts on the forum.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're still those people over there. They're like modding the heck out of it. They're
trying to make it run nicely on modern
It runs on
computers.
everything now. It's pretty amazing what they keep doing.
I mean the graphics.
Oh yeah,
they're trying to make the graphics look good on modern computers.
I remember they had. I don't know if it's still. I barely pay attention to it, but they had one thing that they recreated the multiplayer because they like had this networking app that would directly inject the other person's movements into the engine over the internet, and it would like hijack control of one of the AI characters. And since all the AI characters had their own move sets, you could set up these little multiplayer games by the person you're playing against has hijacked the AI character from over the internet. And so it's relaying the moves into the AI character. It's like some kind of horrible hack, but apparently it actually worked.
I was going to say, that sounds terribly stable.
Oh, yes, I'm sure it crashes all the time, or at least at some point it probably did. But,
And there's probably
how many of you guys played like Halo 1 under the tunneling apps?
Oh my gosh.
Oh dear.
I did that.
Yeah.
And it felt magical at the time.
It totally
playing
did.
with someone over the internet. But
Yeah,
it was
totally
awful.
didn't matter that it was buggy as hell because it was fun.
Oh, I just remember like being in a Banshee, trying to shoot at a different Banshee, of course, locked in those like death spirals, you can never catch him. And then all of a sudden my Banshee like rewinds, goes under a bridge, and I get stuck against a wall because it's like the packets from like 10 minutes ago have caught up to me or something.
Good stuff.
Yeah, we talk
I'm
about
willing to
the
cut them
Destiny
that kind of slack for the
networking
live
now.
stuff,
It's like,
though.
this thing works pretty good.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the actual bite-sized backstory, though, Raga, what do you have planned? It's been a little while since we've...
It's been way too long. I mean, I haven't even done one this year, I don't think. I was actually working on it this afternoon. I'm trying to track down one little bitty piece of lore on Varric. He says specifically that Skolas cut off his 2 arms. That's why he has his robot arms. I'm trying to cite that, but it's like...
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah.
Well, didn't they cut off his 2 arms, like, to disgrace him?
No. Varric, who of course, he's got the robot arms when we talk to him. It is probably like an item description or something that I have to go track down. But it specifically says that Skolas cut off those 2 arms either because he thought he was betraying him or just to make an example out of him or something like that. But I can't find the right keywords I need to track that one down. And so once I get that, I'll write the article.
Are you going to, is your current trajectory to continue with the Fallen story?
Yeah, I'll go back to that for 1 week. And then I think what I'll do next is the Callus story from the Destiny 2 like limited edition. Haha, you didn't pay enough for your limited edition book that I don't own.
I'm pretty sure that's not what it was called.
I think it was something similar.
I have it right here. That's
Don't
exactly
have it right
the
in
title.
front of me, but
Yeah.
Oh, it lulls on the end. You forgot that.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's actually really super cool. Like the whole conspiracy of overthrowing Callus, who was the actual Cabal Emperor at one point in time. And then there's all these cool things, like he's got this whole assassin force as he tries to kill Gaul. And one member of the assassin force is from this race of arc energy beings that like travel among the stars. And this thing that
energy beams.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really, really cool stuff I want to get to. So the Fallen stuff's actually kind of close to wrapping up. Because, I mean, after this big war around the reef, we kind of know what happened for the most part, at the Cosmodrome and so on. Then kind of the last bit to shed light on is after Destiny 1, all the Fallen houses scattered and they left the Cosmodrome. They left Earth for the most part. Of course, we have some there now in Destiny 2, but the houses they just scatter. They did away with their houses. These are things that they're part of their tradition going back before the darkness hit them hundreds or maybe thousands of years ago. They've done away with their houses.
You haven't done anything with their sort of experimentation with Siva, so...
Yeah, there'll be that too. There's not a whole lot from their perspective on it, which is interesting. There's a lot from the Iron Lord's perspective.
Well, isn't one of them, if I'm remembering right, someone actually going to see the Kings? Because the Kings were one of the groups that...
Oh, I mean, that's
was
part of it.
Against Siva.
The Awoken Queen's brother, after she got...
That's right.
Killed, blown away, or whatever actually happened to her, because she's probably still around somehow. He went.
Well, I mean, we know she's alive.
She's got to be, and there's actually several references that hint in that direction.
And Bungie's actually said it.
Well, yeah, they had a whole interview where they're like, "Oh, she's not. She might be back sometime," or something like that. Yeah, but yeah, the Queen's brother went to talk to the House of Kings, and if you read it. It basically looks like he kind of asserted his authority as a monarch over them, who also they consider themselves monarchs as well. They kind of bowed to them, and so the Fallen dissolved all their other houses. It looks like they all pulled together, maybe under the Queen's brother's leadership, which is probably not good for us because he was kind of a jerk. So we'll see how that goes.
And didn't like us.
Yes.
He was really emo.
But there's all sorts of scannables in the EDZ specifically that kind of hint in that direction.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think the significance is for the? I'm maybe they actually already spelled this out and I missed it, but the Fallen in Trostland with Varrix's House Judgment sigil.
I'm not sure because there's a couple of references because there's a scannable someplace else where the ghost talks about working with Varrix as well.
Yeah, and it seemed like a really strange
he had
thing
allied himself pretty heavily with Petra Venge and the Reef leadership, but he was always kind of like near the end of Destiny 1, around the, past the Taken King, after the Queen's brother had left and after the Queen had mysteriously vanished when her ship was destroyed, it seemed that Varrix gained control of what they call the Crows, which is kind of it's never quite spelled out, but it's either the Reef's kind of spy organization, or it might literally be mechanical crows. It's kind of one or the other, or maybe both.
I think it's actually mechanical crows, from the description of that card.
But there's other references where it's clearly like fighter pilots and stuff. So, but Varrix was in control of the crows. I just read it today. He was taking in the spy reports and handing them to Petra, and she said something like, I know you're in charge of this now, and I know you're not telling me everything, but I still trust you. And they kind of got this mutual trust between each other. So it kind of all tied up. What happened to the Reef? How come we haven't seen or heard from the Reef in all of Destiny 2? So that's going to be interesting.
Definitely.
Lots of potential here for good storytelling.
Yeah.
I hope they make good on some of it.
Yeah.
They will make good on some of it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Poor Saint 14.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I'm actually okay with that. I mean, I think he is still a legendary figure. That he took on an entire Vex army and basically won.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's kind of sad. Like,
and that's a common theme in Destiny lore, that all these legendary heroes, they either die or they stop fighting.
Yeah.
That's kind of the two options they go with.
Or they transcend death and float around the hive netherworld,
Yeah.
sending back like haughty, annoying letters to people.
Nice. My goodness.
Yeah, but I mean, there's someone mentioned no story in Destiny. It's like, there's very talented writers, and one of the coolest things that if you pay attention as much as I do, I think they literally wrote down like an entire list of every single Grimoire card, and they have made sure in Destiny 2 that every single person, story point, whatever, has a continuation in Destiny 2. Maybe just one, but like
there.
remember like the owl sector where we all got the funny, colorful glows around us? There's a mention in the tower. If you're just standing around, one of the people says, I think Shu adopted Quist kids after the tower fell. Well, Shu was one of those operators running that program. Quist was another one of them who had kids who were mentioned in the Grimoire back in Destiny 1 around, I guess it was Age of Triumph or whatever that was. Or maybe the Fallen Lords, the Iron Lords.
Yeah.
Well, so they continued their story that it's acknowledged that he had kids. It's acknowledged that he died in the Cabal's attack on the tower, and it's acknowledged that the other person that we heard about adopted his kids. And that's just one random phrase in the tower as you're walking around. And I want to just sit around, spend a day just listening to the random phrases, because there's really cool stuff even there. But I mean, every single story, but I literally cannot find one now that does not have at least a phrase or a scannable or something that continues a story point, which is really cool.
Yeah. I think... Go ahead, Xenos.
I was just going to say, the lore, I think, is actually just as cool in Destiny 2 as Destiny 1. It's just so much harder to find.
Yeah.
Not like it was super accessible in Destiny 1 either, though.
Well, right, but in Destiny 1, when you unlocked it you knew where it was.
Right,
yeah.
You could go find it. Yeah.
You could go to the topic and be like, oh, this was about the guy that had the last word. So you went to weapons and you found last word, and it was sitting right there. Now, if I want information about Rasputin, what do I look at in Destiny 2?
You don't. It's not collected anywhere. I mean,
right.
the real answer is you go to ishtar-collective.com or whatever it is, and they've archived it all. But
like I love that the lore is in game, but I wish they would have kept the Grimoire, and when you unlocked that lore, it would unlock it in the Grimoire.
Yeah, they just need to put it in the app, and maybe don't hide it under a bizarre icon, but just give us a Grimoire that's just like they did before. It's just list of topics, and good luck finding something sometimes, but it's all in there. So that'd be nice.
Maybe Bungie's listening. Maybe.
Not at this point.
Probably not.
If you are, give us a sign. No, just kidding.
Oh dear.
Awesome. Well, I think that probably generally wraps up the topic for Warmind. There was one thing that Destiny related that I realized we did not talk about last time because it hadn't happened yet, but it happened like 2 weeks after we released the episode, and that is the release of Music of the Spheres. That sort of floated out from the internet, fell off the back of a truck somewhere.
Do I get to talk about that controversy, my personal problem with that, or do I just leave that alone? Because
I don't
dear.
know. I could cut
dear.
it if you decide to later.
I mean, it's not like I didn't say it on the forum, but I think it's a little odd that it just fell off the back of a truck. Like it was obviously encouraged off the back of the truck, and it was encouraged off the back of the truck by the same person that had like a Kickstarter going to have his music, bought by people. So it's like, what happened to music ownership here, and how can you kind of be on both sides of it? But it's a big complex issue as well, so I'm not too concerned about it, but it bothered me, I guess.
Yeah, the whole thing was kind of super weird.
Strange.
Yeah, very strange. I will say, though, I'm glad to have the music out there. It's pretty freaking amazing.
Oh, the music's great.
It's pretty freaking amazing.
I would say if I had ever heard it.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's much more to add about that, but I wanted to at least acknowledge it.
Not in public, there isn't.
Nice. All right. Well, I think that generally wraps up where we are, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have some exciting new news to look forward to. But
And
any parting
maybe
thoughts?
after the next DLC, we'll actually record a podcast.
Maybe. Don't make any promises.
It's just an idea.
Just nobody's promising anything, Bjorn.
Exactly.
Oh man, yeah. But yeah, any last thoughts though before we wrap it up?
I'm looking forward to 6v6 Iron Banner.
Oh, tell me about
too.
it.
That response can be so short.
That's right. It'll still be fun.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. Just put us back on Shores of Time. We'll deal with whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
will
could
say
we could use a rematch.
we had an awesome rematch for the Crimson Days event, the doubles event. Brightson and I got matched against Xenos and Speed Racer.
Oh,
That was such
nice.
a close game.
And we weren't even
Such a close game.
we weren't even like trying to match together. It just happened.
that's fun.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, we definitely got to do DBO private events.
These warlocks
It literally
versus hunters and the
It literally
warlocks
went to
won,
overtime.
obviously. But,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah. Yeah,
Very
that
nice.
was good times. We and it was one of those things where you're in the middle of the battle and you don't even realize who it is because you're not reading nameplates while you're taking shots and finding cover. But Speed Racer hit me with the colony, and I finally got I'm sitting at the death screen, and it says Speed Racer killed you with the colony. I'm like, wait a minute.
I know that name.
know that
How do I
guy.
know that name?
And then we were like, oh, we've got to win this.
Did you?
we did.
Oh, okay. Surprised.
Barely.
It didn't take warlocks to
narrow,
beat hunters. but
narrow
okay.
thing. It ended up being Brightson at the end with his Dawn Blade,
Yeah.
and he pulled out like a super clutch play. He knocked out Xenos's Shadow Shot with the Dawn Blade. Like it was amazing. I was dead the whole time.
You have video of any of this?
I think I do. I think I posted it.
I watched
didn't I?
it. Yeah, you did post it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So, but yeah, so we had one accidental rematch in DBO land, and I really look forward to the idea of being able to play with the community more because we just have so much more fun that way. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even
I'm
set
with
up
ya.
like a weekly thing.
Yeah.
I'd be
Don't
down
make
for
them
it.
private though.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, with the private matches,
No, don't make them private.
Yeah.
No one
the
can
events.
join them
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
make them
that's
private.
what I mean. Yeah, we set up a Fire Team Builder event and say this is the weekly sign up for the Thursday
There you
night
go.
game or whatever, and you just show up. So
And if there's too many people, then you just spawn off a second match.
exactly.
Yep.
Yep. So
Perfect.
well, thanks for listening. Raga, thank you so much for spending time and coming to talk with us about the new release and where we're going. It's always good to have you on the show.
And bring in your
always all the time
knowledge and lore.
Dropping your knowledge.
Sheesh, I didn't even look good, even do any research for this one. I'm just going to sit here and talk.
See, he's like
That's right.
he's like DBO's own Cryptarch, people.
Someone named me that. I think it's in my
Except
my
less hated.
location. It says like official Cryptarch of DBO or something. Of course, the person that termed that for me said, no, we didn't mean it because you know lore. We meant it because the way you talk over chat. I'm like, wait, what?
That's great.
Oh man. And Claude, thank you for coming to join us again.
Yeah, it was fun.
Wonderful
Thanks for
to have
having
you on
me.
the show. Sorry we didn't tell you about the last one before we recorded it. It was sort of a last minute thing.
It was very last minute.
I got an email from him afterward and be like, I guess I missed something. I didn't get an invite.
Yeah.
Oops.
One of those. I felt like I'd been left off the list. No,
there was no list. That was
Xenos and I going like, we really have to record a podcast. Like, you free? Yeah, I'm free. Let's do it.
That's right. Right. Yeah, and I know all I'd have to do is join your silly Slack channel, and I could know about it as well. But
exactly.
World's biggest distraction. Don't do it.
that is.
Well, honestly, you could join and just join the DBO admins group, and
Yeah,
it would
that would
not
work.
be distracting.
There's nobody talking there.
No, we only talk about site stuff in there.
And we
So.
bitch about Raga sometimes, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot of hope. Sheesh.
No, just occasionally. No. Yeah, that's usually where we set up the schedulings for this. So
That was my problems go back before IRC. I just can't. I can't have a live chat window open. I just can't.
We can help you at that. I mean, it's not hard.
It's definitely hard. It's not doable. The easiest solution is to not open the window.
it's super distracting. Yeah, absolutely. So the
I actually
easier
usually
option is
don't-
to send an email like I did this time.
Yeah.
There you go.
Usually, though, I don't even have it open on my computer. I just have it on my iPhone with no notifications turned on except DBO admins. So
I do have the snooze turned on for every work day. It's like, yeah, I can't do this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Maybe someday I'll be an adult and can handle the extra. Probably not.
And Xenos, thank you for co-hosting. And listeners, thank you for listening. Episode, what was this? We decided 34 and a half.
34 and a half.
34 and a half.
I think it was 36 and a half, but that's okay. You can.
Yeah, someone said 36 earlier. So.
I apologize. Oh, I got, yeah.
it's okay.
These things are hard to count, people. It's really tricky. So, with
What
that,
comes after 12?
I'm Bjorn, and thanks for visiting the Starside Lounge, and we'll see you Starside. What episode number is this? I should probably check that out, huh?
We never do.
We don't do them frequently enough to, 14.
We should just start making up random numbers every time.
We should. I think that's probably... What episode number is it, Xenos?
It's episode 36.
Excellent.
And a half.
36.5. All right. Okay. Are we ready to start the show? Is there anything else?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
I got nothing. I'm not even seeing a progress bar on this one. This is not good. Oh, I have to hit the upload button.
Okay,
Never mind.
that's great. Yeah,
So-
GarageBand does not record longer than like 30 minutes.
Nice. So I don't
Good
have any
luck.
audio for you.
Nope.
So Raga in Xenos, you'll appreciate this. We're in the middle of a blizzard right now. I was sort of afraid I was going to lose power in the middle of this thing.
Yeah.
We got like over a foot of snow today, and it's the middle of April. Yeah. But so because we were locked inside all day, I was talking to my wife and I said, we should let's watch a movie. And I'd been telling her about some of the anime stuff that you guys had recommended. And so,
Oh no, what did you watch?
So we watched Your Name.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
She
And it
hadn't
was-
seen it yet?
I told you your wife would enjoy that.
You did, and you were absolutely right. She did.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
That's a wonderful story. So, yeah, I'm slowly trying to dig into anime
Speaking of
stuff
not
and find
so
good
wonderful
stories.
I'm not enjoying Stay Night. Like, how far have you gotten on that, Bjorn?
The first episode.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but that was sort of one of the big complaints that I was hearing from, or not hearing, when I was reading online and talking to you and trying to figure out which order to watch the shows in, was that the Fate Stay Night storyline isn't nearly as good or interesting as the Fate Zero line, but it somehow gives you grounding for what happens in Zero, so that makes Zero better. See, this is
I'm reserving judgment till I finish it, but the thing is, to me, again, there's no hidden, there's no, anything twist or anything really, but it's almost like Sailor Moon to Madoka in that it's like a high school show where the main character runs around and gets like nearly killed almost every episode. Like, not in a dramatic way, like he's a complete moron walking up there trying to fight off magical heroes from the past with a stick. And it's like, what the hell? And then you go to Fate Zero and it's super dramatic and everybody's smart and everybody does rational things. And in Stay Night, the main guy's running around fighting off people with a chair leg, and he's getting killed nearly every time. Because
you're describing exactly what got me out of anime when I was younger.
Well, you got to watch the correct anime is the thing.
Oh yeah, I know. But no, like let me tell you, because you're like, it's almost ridiculous how close it is. Because I watched Tenchi Muyo when it came on.
Oh boy.
When it came on Toonami.
It's a lot like Tenchi Muyo, yes.
And Tenchi Muyo is pretty good. It's weird, and there's a lot of weird things in it, but the actual action-based storyline is actually really cool.
If they ever get around to it, yeah.
Right. Well, here's the thing, though, is they get around to it, and then the series ends, and then they're like, people are like, oh, okay, we'll just watch the next Tenchi series. And so I'm like, okay. And I picked that up, and they'd stripped out all of the good stuff from Tenchi Muyo and just had all the harem stuff, and that was it.
Yeah. This thing, Stay Night, is basically, it's from the visual novel game.
Yeah.
Which is basically, collect the girls, form a harem sort of thing.
Right. What?
It's not quite
this
that.
is an anime thing.
Seriously, it is. It seriously is.
Oh,
I mean, and you can feel it in the anime. In that it's not quite as dramatically bad as I bet it was in the game, but it's like the different girls from Saber, the heroic spirit that's basically King Arthur, sort of. I mean, she ends up rooming along in the same house with the main character. And then the next one, kind of the enemy turned friend girl, ends up rooming in the same house as the main character. And
this is like,
stop.
It's a super common problem, not just in anime, but in Japanese stuff.
Yeah.
It's like even one of my favorite games is Valkyria Chronicles.
Okay.
It's this awesome like action turn-based RPG. And yes, it is action and turn-based. And
that's fine. So is Final Fantasy 13.
With every sequel, they turned it more into like, oh, you have to manage the relationships between your characters.
Yeah.
And And it's like that wasn't even in the first game. I don't care. And like each game turned more and more to that until it got so bad that like the last game got like a 10% on Metacritic. And so like with the fourth one, they're like, we're gonna go back to the way the first one was.
That's nice.
It's like a super common thing with Japanese.
So Claude, do you know anything about anime?
Nothing at all.
Yeah. Okay. So me neither. We're in the same boat. And I recently, just like some history about what's going on, I had asked Raga and Xenos for some advice about, okay, is there good anime and what should I watch? Because I've heard them talk about it.
Yep.
And so
Well, I think first it started with, I just told you, hey, I added your name to my Plex. You should watch this.
Yeah, I had no idea what you were talking about. I was like, you added my name to you. What?
Oh, gosh. Yes.
But it's a movie called Your Name.
Right. Yeah, I figured that part out.
Yeah. And so I started there, and that is a fantastic piece of movie making. Highly recommended. But I didn't know where else to go. So I was asking around, and Raga pointed me down some scary, dark-looking path that actually ended up being pretty amazing.
Sometimes Raga knows what he's talking about.
Sometimes Raga knows what he's talking about. When Raga says, "Hey, pulse rifles are good this time. Try it." Turns out he knows what he's talking about.
You haven't even watched Cowboy Bebop yet, have you?
I did watch Cowboy Bebop, and I couldn't get into it. I watched the
Really?
whole thing and the movie, and it's
crazy.
so disjointed and kind of weird.
Yeah, I didn't really like it either. I
liked some of the characters and the potential that they had, but we didn't really get to pay off any of it. I did like in the main series, there was the ended up being like the showdown at the church scene and that whole thing. That was kind of cool, but that wasn't the anchor of the show enough to be.
Yeah, it's kind of like the background story.
Yeah,
kind of
it was
revisiting the past sort of thing.
Most of the show was sort of just the weird missions that they were on, and like the three old men that showed up in all the episodes, and crazy psycho girl.
I think part of it though also comes from the style show it is, because it's got like a touch of noir in it, which noir is definitely not everybody's cup of tea.
I love noir though. That's the thing. I absolutely love noir, and so those elements
I'm surprised
of it are
you didn't like it, because but
I think it was just the whole package, which is kind of weird.
I mean, yeah, it's weird. I don't disagree with that.
It has a unique style, but the other thing is I'm just so new to the anime genre that maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's something that it's like a fine wine or something where it sits with you better.
No, well,
after you know what you're looking at.
It's not refined enough yet.
No, that's the crazy thing is I watched like a ton of anime when I was in high school, like just a ridiculous amount of anime, and then Cowboy Bebop came on, and I loved it. And then I tried to watch other new animes and couldn't watch other new animes.
Well, I'm sure it ruins a lot of stuff for you just because it's
like,
good.
Well, and like. They don't do the cultural stuff of anime that drives me nuts, like people bleeding out of their nose when they see a pretty girl, and like characters turning into little chibi versions of themselves, like all this stuff that doesn't add anything to anime but is in like 90% of anime.
You guys haven't pointed me to any of that yet, so
because we're very carefully leading you to good anime.
That's fine. I'm happy for you to curate.
The thing
it
that
for
I've
me.
found is there's not a lot of good anime. There's a lot of crap. There's a whole lot of crap.
I think that kind of goes for media in general, though, right? Like that's how I feel about just Hollywood movies.
Sure.
But I'm just surprised you didn't like it, because that's what gets most people into anime is Cowboy Bebop.
It's not that I didn't
like I'm not even
it.
exaggerating.
I think. Maybe it was built up too much.
Probably. Have you done Ghost in the Shell? Did we even point you to Ghost in the Shell?
You have.
I think I did.
That is on my list.
I mentioned it when he asked.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on my list. I haven't watched it.
I don't know. The problem with it is it's so baked into like Japanese government culture that it's like you kind of just got to take for granted that all these different government agencies are talking about like Section 2, Section 4, Section 6. It's like, yeah, I guess that's how y'all do things.
Oh, are you talking about the TV show?
Either one, because I mean, it's a little bit in the movie, but
the movie's not too bad on that area.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize there was a TV show. Movies. What
I
I
watched
was
the
looking
movie with a bunch of people that were. I mean, we watched it in an actual movie theater. It came here
Right.
a couple of years ago, and there were a bunch of people who came to see it because you know they just. And I went and I fell asleep.
no, it probably does do that. That's
It
it moves slow at points.
So the movie is not despite the way it's often marketed, is not really an action movie. It's a thinker.
Yeah,
because it's
it didn't
about
made me think.
oh, very.
the whole point of the movie is what's human, what does it mean to be alive, like those are the
versus
themes.
like
Sure.
AI. Yeah,
Right,
Plenty of
versus
stories have fascinated me with that topic, and this was just not one of them.
hey, go try to watch the sequel movie. It's got like a 15-minute scene of like a parade going by very slowly.
No, thank you.
This is not the Scarlett Johansson
I
one.
mean,
No,
You also-
do
no,
not
no.
go see that one.
I mean, you also fell asleep during it, Claude, so you probably didn't actually see the story get to the interesting part.
I didn't fall asleep for all of it. You know, like I'd wake up and I'd realize I missed 3 or 4 minutes or whatever.
But that's the worst way to watch a thinking movie.
Yeah,
like
probably.
He does have an argument here.
I'm not
Here's
saying
the thing.
that-
There are 2 movies in my life that have ever put me
Right.
to sleep in the movie theater, and that's one of them.
What's the other
one?
one?
The other one was 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Also a thinker.
No, so the part that put me to sleep there had nothing to do with thinking. It was that whole LSD light
Oh
show.
yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Oh, you might have seen though. I bet they didn't show the original version.
Of
Oh dear.
Of Ghost in the
2001
Shell.
or go? Oh, good.
Oh
No, it totally was the original version. This was shown in a little art house here. I guarantee you it was the original version.
Oh, I can't remember a light show part. Like
He's
No,
talking
no,
about
we're talking about
2001.
oh, sorry. my headset fell out there for a second.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
falling asleep during a movie. You miss
That's
key
right.
points.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
All right, I am
No.
yelled at to go upstairs and change the laundry over. So I'm going to have to leave.
Go,
I
Claude.
just
no,
wanted
we-
to
It's
Claude.
more important than that. Yes, sir. Go.
before you leave, I was just gonna say I totally understand that with 2001.
Yeah.
I understand 2001 as like an important milestone in movie making, but it's not like an incredibly entertaining movie.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't-
I've seen part of it. I'm never going to go see it or
And I
watch the whole
found the
thing.
book to be fascinating, so that really
Probably.
bugged
Yeah.
me. I don't know.
All right.
Anyway.
See ya, Claude. Thanks for joining.
All right. Take care. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.